good night to you, Tarot and Astrology stars out there. I am David with Tarot and Astrology for All, bringing you your daily card of the day for the Faeries Oracles. Now, when I first did the draw, I had the Finger of Courage. Now, the Finger of Courage describes energy of bravery, energy of bringing things into your control, moral strength, things like that. And at the same time, the Finger of Courage is actually the energy of somebody who's fairly confident in themselves. So I see that some of you guys are fairly confident in yourselves now. You guys have the bravery that's necessary in order to move forward. Although I do feel that some of you guys just don't have it. Although I will say that for those that don't have it, what did come up for you guys is the Maiden. Now, because the Maiden was upright, it signifies new beginnings and growth. And you couldn't ask for any more auspicious card than this if you're beginning something new. So spontaneity, joy, growth, things like that, those are all the energies of the Maiden. And so since that card came out with the Finger of Courage in the reverse, I feel like some of you guys have been beaten, battered, bruised, things like that. I'm getting the Nine of Wands energy. So let's see what actually comes out now, because maybe those cards were there as like a backup, maybe they were there as a filler, who knows. But right here we'll actually find out more or less what is actually the case with those two cards and why these videos were messing up in the meantime. So, all right, so Nelys the Alchemist. So I feel like what's getting you down, what's making you feel fear, making you feel doubt, maybe about what these new beginnings can imply or what these new beginnings are bringing. The Alchemist in the reverse, in a sense, describes to me a situation where you feel powerless, which is highly unlikely the case, because with the Maiden energy, you're building up that joy, you're building up that happiness, you're building up that excitement, that courage, the basically the foundations to set you up as a powerful alchemist. But the idea is that a lot of the times we don't wish to receive such energy because we feel like maybe we're not meant for it, maybe we're not chosen for it, maybe we aren't in sync with whatever it is that we're supposed to be doing at that time. But Nelly the Alchemist coming out, regardless of whether it's upright or the reverse, is there to let you know that you have the power to create whatever it is that you want. This is kind of similar to me in the Rider-Waite as the Magician. So when you think about the Magician has the ability to create whatever it wants. It has the energy of all four signs: air, water, fire, earth, and there's also other key details on it that allow it to basically show you that he is the master. But he's not technically the master. I would say it's like a person who's unconscious that is barely coming into their power. So I feel like some of you guys are at that stage. For others of you, I feel like you already understand that you're at that stage, but you just have to convince yourself. But in order to convince yourself, you have to remove fear, doubt, and anything that's causing conflict in your mind and in your heart from working in unison. So there's that. And then, of course, with Indi at the bottom, I feel like a lot of you guys have made your decisions already. You guys have made your decision that regardless of whether you know yourself or not, you're going to keep moving forward. A lot of you guys really do know yourselves, because with the appearance of the raccoon and the appearance of some of the other cards that have come out lately, the Phoenix in reverse, and then also the deer in the headlights. Yeah, there's some of you guys that you tend to run into a situation where maybe you have the ability to make something, right, to wave that magical wand of yours, but in some type of way, your fear and your doubt produce something less than what could have been. I don't know if that's a specific message for some of you guys, but that's what comes through there. Um, when we look at the Maiden in itself is an energy of um, it's the energy of early stages of a lot of different things going on in your life. Whatever this new thing is that's coming through right now, it shouldn't be anything that's new, right? I mentioned something like that yesterday, where what's going on right now is not something that's new, but it is new within the cycle. So if that makes any sense, hopefully you guys can assimilate that message into your being. Let me go ahead and read from the book for Nelys the Alchemist. And also, I'll go ahead and talk about the number real quick. It's number 27. Um, she is considered a fairy guide or a fairy guardian. And fairy guides and guardians are those who devote time and energy to directly guiding humans as we develop our special talents and gifts and our own natural magic. Now, what have I been saying the last 4 or 5 days? That you have innate talents in you. You have to question yourself as to who you are, and if you really know yourself, what it is that you want. And then the last question, for well, because the lack of any other question, is what are you gonna do? Are you gonna make a move on it? Do you have the information necessary from source, which obviously you do because source is always sending us messages? And then second, do we realize that we do have untapped natural power within us? Because when you actually tap into that power, you're doing what source is calling you to do. And what ends up happening is that good things result from it, because you doing what you need to do, sharing your information with other people or making your craft or whatever it is that you're working on, somebody else is going to use that in order to push themselves forward as well as to inspire themselves, right? So they can help us to become more than we are already, and exploring our potentials and transcending our self-imposed limitations and fears. So if you really think about the energy of the alchemist, it's the energy of transmutation. It's similar to the temperance card in the Rider Tarot Waite, but in a sense, the difference here is that sometimes in our world, alchemy is the study of practice, but it's also the study of transforming your soul and transforming your mind, and also transforming your emotions and your behaviors and your thoughts and actions, all of that because of that. But in the scope of things, um, much like I said, the alchemist in and of itself is more of like a primitive energy. It's more of like the magician energy, and not really quite like the world energy, where you've gone through everything, the cycle's over, you've learned what you needed to learn, and now you're a more powerful individual because of it. So often inner transformations is required in order to achieve what we wish for the outer world, just as conversely, changes in the outer world often elicit inner transformations. Personal inner change is the truest transformation of all, and in the long run, it is the only change that matters. So, as Nelly points out a path we can follow, she does not lead us by the hand along with it, although she might give us a nudge if we seem to need it. She's not. This is your own inner transformation, and it's an irrevocable change that undoubtedly is going to bring a lot of blessings in your life if you allow it to make those changes necessary. When Nelly's turns upside down, you may be getting in Nelly's way as she does her work. To put it bluntly, you may be the main obstacle in your own path. It may be necessary to transform attitudes and behaviors. She will first approach you with tact and a kindly fairy warning, pointing out an alternative path you might try. Now, sometimes we get these alternative paths, and a lot of the times we think that, oh, well, we're already on this path, we shouldn't take off this path, or we shouldn't get off this path. But sometimes it's just necessary that you need to change course. I think about the elephant card in the animal spirit deck, and how elephants, they see things because they have that advantage or that perspective, and they actually lead you away from danger. I feel like Nelly's the alchemist in this situation is leading those of you who are watching, maybe even myself, away from danger through this message. She okay. At this point, it would be well to begin actively cooperating with her energy of alchemical transformation. If you have any things inside of you that maybe you've been wanting to get rid of, but you can't because for whatever reason you just can't let it go, affirmations for letting go, I'll go ahead and put those in the description box below so that you guys can use that as a way to let go. But I'll also add in an affirmation for growth here in a couple of days when the cards that are necessary pop up. So that is quite a hefty fairy wand she carries, and I'm sure it isn't just for decoration. I asked her about that, but I only got an outrageous grin in reply. Fairies hide what you want and reveal what you need. All right. So that card coming down to the reverse with the numbers 2 and 7 are decisions that are these are things that are decided based off your assessment, your thinking, your man, your research, right? Your ability to really contemplate the things that go into every situation. Now, both of those together, they actually equal 9, which is your personal happiness. So I just want to go ahead and go off of Indi real quick, 63, and I'm gonna go to the reverse portion automatically because we already know that Indi is about decisions, but it's about indecision. So when it comes in the reverse, it's about being solid about your decisions and making your decisions, and not straying away from your decisions, sticking to them. And it's commitment and decision making, obviously. So in the reverse, Indi may be right to hesitate. He may not have enough information to make an informed decision, and neither may you. Hesitate while you question. Find out more. True. We will never have real guarantees from the universe about our decisions and their outcomes, but caution is appropriate here. Learn more, get agreements in writing. If it doesn't feel right, it isn't right. Consider well before you make promises about this, but once you do make the commitment, stick to it. So, essentially, regardless of whether you have the feeling that you have the energy of Nelly's the fairy, the decision has to be made that you need to meet. Excuse me. Regardless of whether you feel like you have this energy of the magician or of Nelly the Alchemist, and whether you understand that you can transform a situation from one to another, from positive to even more positive, or from negative to positive, there is a necessary need not just for changing the mindset, but there is also a necessary need for making a firm decision that regardless of whether you have the resources or not, that you're going to move forward with whatever it is that you plan, because you do have the resources. Or rather, the resources will be provided for you in due time as you make your decision and as you show the universe that you're solid in your decision and that you actually mean what you mean and what you say and what you do. So, with that, I also want to point out that 6 and 3 equals 9 also, so this is very much about personal happiness. Your personal happiness is actually right on the other side of the door to this gate. I did mention something about that, I believe yesterday, if I'm not mistaken, or the day before that. Pretty sure it was yesterday. But with that, I hope you guys found this information helpful. Really, the collective of pixies are there for you. You know, the collection of fairies, pixies, and all of the creatures of the other realm. They're there with you. If you really pay attention, you can actually feel their presence. So I would say sit down, meditate. You know, as you perfect your craft, whatever it is that Source has chosen for you to do, this is the one thing that will re-energize you, and it'll give you all of the power that you need in order to continue with each and every day. And it also gives you the courage and the inspiration. So for some of you guys who are feeling uncourageous or feeling like you don't have any courage within you, do one thing every day that allows you to understand what your true potential is, and then keep working towards that. That's the way that you reach true happiness. That's the way that you reach success. So with that, I will go ahead and end this video. You guys, if you liked it and it resonated with you, go ahead and hit that like button. Share it if you feel like there's somebody else that needs to hear this message. And then also hit that subscribe button if you haven't yet. Click that bell for notifications to notify you when these videos will be out. Of course, these videos will be out every morning. However, there are other videos that are going to be out that I will put, sometime during the day in the future. So, have that notification bell on so that you get those notifications. With that, I am David with Tarot and Astrology for All, and I hope that you guys stay safe, stay free, stay connected, and I will see you on that next video.